This District 2 Board to order at 7 p.m. Note that there is a quorum present. Absent is Commissioner McKeithen, who is on vacation, and Commissioner Biggers, who is still sick. And so there is a quorum with Commissioner Domney, Commissioner Wilson, and myself. At this time, we'll have a prayer and pledge allegiance to the United States and Texas flag. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight thanking you for all the blessings you've given us. Dear Lord, we thank you for watching over us and keeping us safe. Dear Lord, we just ask that you be with us, lead us, guide us, protect us, and give us the wisdom we need to make good and wise decisions as we conduct the business of this district. Dear Lord, just continue to be those who need your healing hand, uplift them and their families. All these things in your Son Jesus' name we ask. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. All right. Item number 3, recognition of guests and special presentations. I guess the only special guest we may have is our new executive director. Mike, why don't you stand up and let everybody see you there?
Yep. Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. That's
Okay.
That kind of sums it up.
Yeah. All right. And then I think we have the people from the what is it? Golly, I lost my train of thought. No, 911 Bill's here, but also the people from the, who's asking for the tax abatement, huh? Yeah, that's it. Economic Development Corporation. There you go. Golly. Forgive me. That's what happens when you become an old man. All right. Item number 4, public comments. I have one signed up, David Gerald. I have 3 minutes from the time you start to speak.
Evening, Commissioners, Chiefs, guests. I would just like to ask the board to consider in the very near future with the cost of inflation, the cost of fuel prices, everything has gone up exponentially except for our cost of living raise. I would like to maybe sit down, see if we can't talk about that. We didn't get one this year in this budget year. Would like to see if maybe you would consider doing a budget amendment for this year and at least doing the 3 to 5% cost of living raise. That would at least probably put $170-ish a month in these guys' pockets and would definitely help on fuel costs, getting them to work. But it would help across the board. It would help everybody and surely help the morale right now, because with the cost of everything, it's really rough on everybody. But that's the basic thing I would like to do, is at least sit down, talk about it, and try and see. All right?
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. All right. Since there's no one else signed up for a public comment, we'll move on to item number 5, which is our consent agenda. Receive, discuss, and take any necessary action relating to the following reports. Approval of the Board of Commissioners minutes for April 25th, 2022.
I've read them and don't have any comment, and make the motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney to approve the board minute. So April 25th, 2022. Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. 5.2, financial reports. Brent, are you going to take care of that?
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, so the April tax distribution report is the standard report. And I don't know if anybody would have any questions about it or not, but really the financial statement is the one that we want to discuss more than anything. And I just want to bring to mention, and maybe this is not specifically at you, but it just so happens to coincide that our sales tax revenue that we've been enjoying for the last several months has actually started to fall now. So we were all hoping that wasn't going to be the case, but that is just one of the events that, so our revenue stream is actually going to start changing a little bit as well, too. So, had no idea what you were speaking about. It just happened to be one of those things. But outside of that, I mean, everything else we have in here is, just as usual, unless somebody would have to ask some questions. Other than that, I'll make a motion that we accept the report submitted by Donald Morgan Petty, as well as the April tax distribution report.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domedy to accept the financials as presented by Golub Morgan and Petty, and also the financial tax distribution report.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 6. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to payment of bills, accounts, invoices, payroll requests for reimbursement, requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. 6.1 is, I think, all our district probably bills that we've had this month. I looked over them. I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. Unless you make a motion?
Yeah.
Charles makes a motion under item 6.1, we pay our bills.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Domney. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. 6.2 is district credit cards. There's the charges that you see on those. And didn't really see anything out of the ordinary there, I don't think. All the invoices were there that matched up with everything we had.
I'll make a motion that we approve the payment of district credit cards under 6.2.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. We pay the district credit cards under 6.2. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, 6.3, contract payments. That's our employee dental and vision, district paging services, phones, electric bills, workers' comp, insurance, health insurance, cell phones, and everything else.
I make the motion that we approve the contract payments under 6.3.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Domney, a second by Commissioner Wilson. We pay the contract payments under 6.3. Is there any other discussion or question? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 7, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on tax abatement for industrial wood technologies. All right, sir. You're up.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Scott Martinez, President of the Tyler Economic Development Council. I'm joined this evening by our Executive Vice President, Felicia Herndon, and also with Logan Sertain from the company. We started working with Industrial Wood Technologies several months ago. To give you a little background on the company, they were founded in 2014, and their headquarters here in Smith County. They operate a full-service lumber treating plant with a focus on developing high-quality lumber products. The company currently produces an innovative decking material called Blackwood lumber. The company formerly operated under the name Great American Treating, but changed its name to IWT to better fit the innovation needs of the lumber industry. Blackwood lumber is created from the highest quality lumber and is a safer, stronger, more durable option for decking, trailers, and boat docks. The lumber is strengthened using a fusion process with industrial-grade rubber-like that's used at gun ranges to absorb bullets. A lot of it's used in horse trailers. You see it's pretty well known in the industry. The company currently plans to expand its operations to a new facility and invest an additional $7 million in the plant and equipment to produce thermally modified lumber. This new chemical-free process, which uses heat and pressure to remove carbohydrates, will produce stronger lumber, resistant to rot and decay, resulting in a longer lifespan. The company is currently finalizing a $150 million contract to develop the new technology. IWT plans to renovate the former block metals material building located on Massey Drive off 271 North in Tyler. It's actually in the unincorporated area of Smith County. The project is expected to create 40 new jobs with an average salary up to $41,000 in 5 years. IWT currently employs 50 workers with an average salary over $55,000. On March 28th, the Smith County Tax Abatement Committee recommended a 4-year, 80% tax abatement for our industrial wood. On May 3rd, the Smith County Commissioners Court unanimously approved the recommendation. Last Thursday, the East Texas MUD unanimously approved the recommendation, and later in the week on Thursday, we go before the Tyler Junior College Board. TEDC estimates ESD number 2 could forego up to $15,374 over the 4-year period at the current tax rate. Keep in mind the property they have on the tax rolls now is none of that will be impacted, and this is only a 4-year abatement at 80%. Our recommendation is that ESD number 2 Board of Commissioners approve the tax abatement agreement with Industrial Wood Technology and authorize the board president to sign all documents necessary to the agreement. Obviously open for any questions.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
The new process that's going to be developed out there, does it change the services that we're going to have to provide out there as well? I mean, without knowing specifically what's changing out there, I know it's chemical free, but it is a thermal, so is there going to be something different in the way we would respond to if we're caught out there?
Not to my knowledge, and Logan, you may want to clarify this, but it heats the wood up to a certain temperature where the carbohydrates come to the surface, and then it's planed off, and the carbohydrates is what rot and the termites and things go to. So like the traditional decking material that's on my deck that's chemically treated, this would be a different process and wouldn't have any environmental runoff and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm just concerned it's a new process out there, and
Yeah.
we'll be responding if there, are we going to incur additional costs in providing those
Certainly.
services out there, is really what I'm trying to understand.
Yes, sir.
And so, I'm sorry, are you, gentleman in the back, are you with the company? Can you answer the question for me?
The system has a fail-safe to eliminate any safety concerns that could arise, and it's a sealed chamber, and so any worst-case scenario would be the lumber in the cylinder at the time would burn up, and that would be it. So
So
there's
is it-
no additional safety.
So natural gas fired, hot oil heaters, salt bath heaters, what type of
It's
heating?
all electric powered.
Okay.
And it has I want to say the fail-safe is a nitrogen. It would pump that and fill the chamber to put out any fire.
Okay, so yeah, everything would be contained within the chamber, so if you do have an excursion, then you would pump full of nitrogen, take the oxygen off of it.
Correct, yeah. We've gone through several different equipment manufacturers, and this is by far one of the safest that we've gone through.
Okay. All right.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and make the motion. We allow them the 4-year 80% tax abatement for their property, as all the other entities in Smith County have done. I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. I appreciate your service and consideration.
Thank you. All right. Item number 8, receive overview and take any necessary action regarding 911 addressing guidelines and procedures for properties located in Smith County. Mr. Morales.
Did you guys get the pictures? Okay. I'm Bill Morales, the district director for the 911 district. I'll start off by saying what a great facility you guys have here, having these meetings.
And we appreciate it, Bill.
And by the way, they're open to any of you guys if you needed to have training or meetings here or, whatever. So you just have to get with Dana Hudson in our office, and We built it to sort of serve, whoever needs it. It'll hold about 45 or 50 people comfortably. So it's open for you guys. I have Kim Wheeler with me here also, who is a fairly recent 911 district employee, but she came from East Texas Council of Governments. So some of you may have worked with her in the past. We're lucky that we got her. She's a great employee. The addressing issues that we wanted to bring up, or really just kind of open the door to communication, is if you recall in 1986, when the 911 district was created, we had to change over 35,000 route and box addresses in order to be able to have a unified system for the enhanced 911 to work. Since it doesn't work on a route and box type format, it had to be an actual physical address. So we did about 35,000 of those addresses, and then just sort of kept that format going forward since '86. Any new subdivision in Smith County is addressed by us. We address it, and then we issue the addresses back to the developer, who then takes it and gets the post office and all the services that they need. And that also, we forward that to Smith County Appraisal District, who then assigns the addresses for tax purposes, and that's sort of how that addressing ball gets rolling. And of course, we only do the area within the county that's not covered by a municipality. The city of Tyler does their own addressing. Lindale, Bullard, and those cities typically handle they assign the addresses, but the process is pretty much the same. It's distributed to SCAD and to the developer, and then that's sort of how it gets put in the records. And as you know, with the rapid development that occurred, and that continues to occur actually in Smith County and the cities, we've had an issue sort of brought up to us, and it really came from ESD District 1, in that there was some confusion on well, first of all, they were confused about who actually was issuing the addresses for some of the new subdivisions. We made it clear Lindale does their own addresses and we do everything outside, which of course is in their ETJ, and also you guys would run into the same problem with responding in the ETJs. So the issue was, one of them was of course how fast those addresses get filed and put on the record, which then translates into how quickly it gets put on your monitors or your mobile units in order to be able to identify the subdivision that you're going to, which very well could be so new that it doesn't even reflect on the maps. So we had an instance out there where I think the dispatcher was looking at a map that didn't even have the subdivision, but there was another map that had the subdivision. So there was a delay in just the communicating of, hey, there's nothing here. Yes, keep going down the road, kind of deal. So they just wanted to meet with us and find out the process and how things work and if we can make it any better. And then they had some other issues, which once we were done with that conversation, we realized real quick that, hey, we probably need to reach out to all the VFDs and let them know that, if they're seeing issues with the addressing, or if they have questions on addressing of subdivisions, that they can come and talk to Kim or Katarina in our office. So the issue is that we have most dispatch centers like Smith County, Lindale, Tyler PD. They actually run two separate maps. One is a CAD map that is, of course, updated by the vendor or by the ESD or whoever. That is a CAD map. And then when the 911 call is delivered, it actually populates the very first thing it does is populate our Vesta Palace map, which is a second map that's on a monitor right below or above the 911 call information. Well, what's happening is our maps are updated daily. So if a subdivision comes in and we load it into our map, it's immediately, overnight when the data is refreshed, it pops up on this map. But it could be months or, however long it takes for the CAD map to be updated. So there could be a subdivision showing on this map that it doesn't show on the CAD map, which you guys very well could be running in your trucks. And so we really just want to open up the lines of communication and see, because I haven't heard many complaints from you guys, but I don't know if that's because you guys really don't know where to go to talk about it or to kind of point out some issues. So Kim has pulled up a couple of examples, and those are the images above you that she'll just kind of talk a little bit about. And they're just sort of three examples of the type of things that we think we need to all just kind of get together again. Is the solution to, create a addressing committee of a few guys from VFDs or ladies that, want to kind of sit down and go over the process, or you'll be able to report back to us so we can kind of pursue each little addressing issue individually, or so that's kind of what we're looking for, is just a process to make it. We want to make sure that we're getting you guys the most accurate information as quick as possible. So I'll let Kim kind of step up, and she'll kind of talk a little bit about the examples.
Another one of my main goals is to have the chiefs check back with your responders and who is actually responding to them, to see if there have been delays in response in specific areas of the county that we need to fix. Like this specific area right here, there are a lot of numbers down one easement, and now we're at the point of where we don't have any more numbers to give these people other than duplicating a same number and giving the other resident an A or a B or whatever the case may be. And that's kind of, what I've seen since I've gotten here. We have two areas in the county that stand out a lot because there are no more numbers. And so if anybody decides that they want to move in this area, or the residents, add more homes, we have no numbers. So in a situation like this, if you're going to go down in there and try and find somebody, would your responders find them? If they don't have any of their homes marked or anything like that, the numbers are not in any type of order that I can tell. And the other examples are kind of where your odd and even numbers are not lining up going down the road. They're kind of, you may have like you have a 200 across the street from 221. You have 278 that comes before 269. I don't know if whenever your responders are responding, they look at one side of the road for the even numbers, and then they look at the other side of the road for the odd numbers in sequential order, completely, not with one another. Does that make sense? Okay. So I don't know what, whoever responds, if you have issues, if you've had known delays in response, I want to know about them. I want to, attempt to fix the areas so that it's not detrimental to a person's life.
And in some of in some of the cases, of course, the easy solution would, like when you run out of numbers, is to go back and renumber an area. But if any of you have ever received a letter from us that says, hey, by the way, we just changed your address, you realize it's for emergency service purposes, but it's always, okay, my mortgage, my insurance, my mail, I've lived here, 35 years, and now I have to change my address because, my neighbor wants to, see, everybody's saying, and so we try to prevent that as much as possible, because that's what they lived through in 1986 when they mailed out 35,000 notices that said, hey, by the way, your new address is this. But, some of these we can address maybe in small sections somehow. A lot of times if it's a family breaking up a piece of property, they're more willing to sort of work with us and maybe are good enough friends with their neighbors to say, hey, let's go ahead and renumber while we can. But yeah, that's really what we wanted to kind of just bring to you guys, and you clearly recognize the problem out there. You just probably didn't know who did it or where we could possibly go to help fix it. So, well, we're the ones. Well, not me, Kim, so don't call looking for me.
And y'all are welcome to call anytime, email anytime, and I'll be happy to, take a look at it and see what we can do to help.
You could probably leave your email address or phone number or.
So is this your system that we're looking at right now?
Are those just screenshots off of the Smith County map site?
No, they're
No?
actually off
Oh.
of the map in my office.
Okay, yes.
I mean, yes, you could get that same off of the map site. It would look slightly different than
Off
this. This
of
is just how I work.
The
Off-
SmithCat?
Off the Smith County map site that's associated with us, with the
I'm not
district.
sure if we have access to that.
So,
Everybody does.
yeah, so I always forget to plug this, but if you go to smithcountymapsite.org, that is the newest map that's also updated daily, right? Is that the one? Yeah. And so.
This is tied into SmithCat, to the CAT, it's not?
No, because what happens is that, so like the smithcountymapsite.org, if you went on there today, you could actually see 2022 aerials that we just completed. I think on some of your CAD, you guys may be running 2019, 2020.
Everything that we use is.
Yeah, and so what, even with the county, we've opened up the door to, see, because I think at one point the county didn't even update the CAD maps because no one realized they were supposed to for, a couple of years. And then once they realized that information is so updated and new, 2022 aerials that show things that were just, built with probably last year. You go to that website, they can download all that to the CAD, and you guys probably have started doing that, but, yeah, so, but that is, that smithcountymapsite.org has, precinct lines, fire district lines, sheriff department, police department, beat lines.
So those are the maps that you all are maintaining?
Yeah, the GIS consortium does that, and it's a consortium of the 911 district, the appraisal district, Smith County, and the city of Tyler. So we have one unified map that we all contribute to, and like I said, it's updated daily.
Okay.
And I think you can
I
down.
do use that website, I just thought that was part of SCAT, I didn't know.
Yeah,
if you guys did.
no, there's what, 65
There's a
layers
lot.
somewhere in there? I mean, you could spend all day on that if you wanted to, so.
Chiefs, what we can do is we can put a mandatory field in our incident reports that, just like we did with COVID, that says, did you have difficulty finding this address? So when we go through and we do our report, we can click yes, no,
That's a good idea.
put a box in there that tells us what's going on. We can then have we can have the reporting system auto-generate any calls that we've had issues with and then follow up on them and get them to these guys. So
'Cause the,
look for that.
Currently, the dispatchers do that, right? If a dispatcher finds a discrepancy or something odd, they'll email or fax us a report.
They'll fax.
And that's called
But that's just if they have like an address that didn't come in correctly.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with the responders responding.
yeah, and so what he's talking about would actually be a good idea.
Yeah.
So, questions, comments? Perfect.
I wrote down my information. Do you want to just hand it down?
Bill, will that work for y'all if we put the field in, and if there's something, we'll just send you a
Yeah,
report if
yeah.
we find something?
Yeah, and we could probably work to where, like the dispatcher's trouble reports or whatever, those are automatically forwarded to Kim and Katarina, so I bet you could do the same, so, they can come in and have 50,000 things to work on in the morning.
Well, we'll see if we can help you guys
Yeah.
out, like,
Do you want this?
Chief Smith.
All right.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you, Bill. And thanks for the use of the building, too.
Thanks for using the building.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right. Item number 9, to discuss, consider taking necessary action on adopting the draft illustrative redistricting plan as a final plan that redistricts and establishes new boundaries for the commissioner districts. Smith County ESD number 2, final adoption resolution with exhibits. So we have to read the resolution before we pass it. Is that correct, Mr. Attorney? Okay. Resolution 2022-003, resolution of the Board of Commissioners, Smith County Emergency Services District Number 2, approving the redistricting of the single-member commissioner districts and establishing new commissioner district boundary lines for commissioner elections based on 2020 census data and providing for an effective date. Whereas the results of 2020 federal census have been considered and indicate that Smith County Emergency Services District Number 2, the ESD single-member commissioner districts are sufficiently out of population balance to require redistricting in order to comply with the one person, one vote equal population principle established by the U.S. Constitution. And whereas the ESD engaged the law firm of Bickerstaff, Heath, Dialgo, Acosta LLP to act as the ESD's redistricting consultant, including advising and assisting the Board of Commissioners in preparation of a new redistricting plan in compliance with applicable requirements of state and federal law. And whereas on April 22nd, 2022, the Board adopted redistricting criteria to assist the ESD and the public in developing redistricting plans which comply with applicable federal and state laws. And the adopted redistricting criteria were adopted in the development of the ESD's new redistricting plan. And whereas on April 22nd, 2022, the Board also adopted redistricting guidelines regarding the submission of comments and proposed plans by the public to ensure the ability of the ESD to timely receive and adequately consider them. And whereas during the redistricting process, the ESD provided notice to the public of its purpose, discussions, and development of a redistricting plan through meeting agendas posted in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act regarding public meetings. And whereas the Board has considered a proposed redistricting plan at board meetings on April 22nd, 2022 and April 25th, 2022, and has considered any oral testimony or written comments, reports from ESD's redistricting consultant, and various proposed plans regarding the appropriate reconfiguration of the commissioner districts. And whereas the Board finds that the attached commissioner districts redistricting plan is in the best interest of the citizens of the ESD, complies with the adopted redistricting criteria, and is believed to comply with all state and federal requirements. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the Smith County Emergency Service District Number 2, A, that the existing single-member commissioner district boundary lines for ESD are hereby amended and the new districting plan depicted on the map attached herein as Exhibit A. Defining new commissioner districts as such new districts are further described in the tables attached hereunto as Exhibit B, reporting populations and demographic statistics for each such new district is hereby adopted and designed to define the ESD's 5 single-member commissioner districts from and after the effective date that Exhibits A and B are incorporated by reference and made part of this resolution and shall be kept on file in the Board's office. B, this resolution shall take and be given effective immediately, and hereunto all ESD commissioner elections shall be held under and in accordance with the new single-member commissioner districting plan here adopted by the Board until such time as a subsequent lawfully enacted districting plan shall be adopted to replace this plan. Passed and approved by the Board of Commissioners, Smith County Emergency Services District Number 2. Can't do that right now. Okay, right. So, anyway, that's it. That's the resolution. Any questions from anybody?
Make a motion to adopt the resolution as stated.
Have a motion by Commissioner Domney with second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Passed and approved by the Board of Commissioners of Smith County Emergency Service District Number 2, 23rd day of May, 2022. All right. Got that out of the way. Number 10, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on the purchase of T-shirts for White House VFD. Who's going to speak on that?
I will. If Chief Champion or one of the others wants to step in, they can. In your board packet, you have a quote for T-shirts. These are the shirts that White House has requested. These are the quantities White House has requested through our uniform vendor, FR Girls. That amount is going to be $2,018.00, and it is in the budget, and we should be good there.
Yeah, the quantity requested is in the budget, or is the value of the order in the budget?
So for the VFD uniforms, we just did a blanket $8,300. There wasn't a specific number of T-shirts and that for them. That was just how we did it this year.
Okay, so you're spending 2,000, so you're spending 25% of your budget at one station.
Each VFD had $8,300.
Okay, fair enough then. 25% of what allocated to them, no problem then.
Yeah.
That's a good deal, thanks.
All right.
Make a motion, we approve.
Have a motion by Commissioner Domney to approve the White House T-shirt order. May I have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Number 11, discuss and consider approval of budget IT purchases. 11.1, discuss and consider taking action on the purchase required for the budget project 22-IT-IHV VoIP system replacement at a cost of $13,500. 11.2, discuss and consider and taking the necessary action on purchase of pagers for mobile communications to replenish the inventory at a cost of $5,000. And 11.3, discuss and consider and take any necessary action on the purchase of new 800 megahertz radios for the 3 plows at a cost of $18,955.53. Larry?
Again, all of these are budgeted projects that we're ready to move forward with. 11.2, the pager inventory, we're getting low on stock for most of the VFD pagers, so we need to get those back in stock. These will be replacing either broken, or damaged, or missing pagers. And the 11.3 for the mobile radios for the plows. Most of the apparatus, we try to replace the radio with the apparatus. These plows really don't get replaced as much as apparatus do. And it's really difficult to hear on the 800 radios that they have in there. So these are going to be upgraded radios that have noise cancellation built in, as well as good quality headsets. So I'd ask that the board approves all 3 purchases as requested.
And these are all 3 within your budget?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Domney. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay. Item 12, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on budgeted Class B phone purchase. Chief Smith?
Okay, so again, this is Class B foam. This is in the budget. What we budgeted for Class B foam was actually $9,000. Price increases have brought it up a little bit. We budgeted for 60 pails. If you look at the quotes there's actually 4 quotes for 60 pails apiece. We're actually requesting to purchase the foam from Metro Fire. It is the same foam that what we are currently using, and when you start trying to mix brands of foam together, we can create some gelling and other issues. The foam from Rowe, which I realize there's 4 quotes there, the foam from Rowe, it should be in there. It is not the same foam. The rest of them are the same. One option we could do is we could drop from 60 pails to 55 pails and still remain under budget.
And so we budgeted for 50, and we can buy 50 in budget.
We budgeted for 60. Yes. We budgeted for 60, and for 60 pails through Metro Fire, it's $9,600. We budgeted $9,000. We could cut back by 5 and still remain under budget and be okay.
As far as stock and amount available, you have on hand, I don't.
Yeah, I believe we'll be okay with that if we cut back by 5.
So if we cut it back by 5, we'd still have enough to make it,
Yes,
and that would bring us in right at $9,000.
yes,
What's budgeted
yes.
for what? To buy the 55? Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Wilson to buy 55 barrels of, or
Pails.
pails of foam for the $9,000 that is budgeted. Have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Domney. Any other discussion? Not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 13, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on Texas Forest Service grant match for Dixie Volunteer Fire Department brush truck. Who's going to speak on that?
I'll start. I may call Chief Peterson, Chief York, Chief Melson up. Okay, so Dixie's received a grant for $50,000 from Texas Forest Service for a truck chassis. They've also received a grant for $20,000 for a skid unit, for a total of $70,000 between the two. We have looked at our options, and our options are we can either build something ourselves or we can have it built. So we looked at both options. In there you'll see 3 quotes from companies to have the truck built. You'll also see a spreadsheet in there that has those other options, or to build it ourselves. So what we came up with by pricing out all the individual items that make up the brush truck, we could build it ourselves, not factoring any labor in the shop, for $122,000. That includes no warranty or anything such as that. If we have it built, the low bid for that would be from Wildfire for $127,427. We would not pay for the truck until it is received, which would mean we would need to budget the difference in next year's budget. So it's roughly $60,000 we'd have to budget for next year because we're looking at 12 to 18 months prior to the truck arriving. If we wait, Dixie runs the risk of losing their grant. So this is something we're going to need to go ahead and lock in and take care of. And Chief Peterson, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I talked to Matt here, that you lock it in, and like I said, you wait till next year, so it's not bought at this time, pay for it next year. But if we wait too long, we will lose that grant. It's got, about just barely over a year left on that grant.
The,
If you wait too long, we're gonna lose that grant.
they will be able to file for an extension initially, but the Forest Service will only give them so many extensions.
What's the additional amount of money you say we'd have to put in?
Yeah, 70,000.
70,000?
Yes.
And with the additional money, it's 57,000
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My math is off.
They've got the grant, but,
for 70,
yeah, but we'd have to come up with 57,000, right?
Yes. And again, that would actually be next budget year that we would have to do that.
Trucks have been going up pretty regular every month on price wise. The longer we wait, it's gonna get higher.
Right. Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
I'd like to go with Daco, if at all possible. I know their lights are wheeling, their lifetime warranty lights.
The price for the Daco,
Is that the brush fighter?
yes, that's the brush fighter. It's going to be $138,854.
And they got a grant for 70,000?
Yes. So we're looking at 68,000. The brush truck is pretty bare bones as far as it doesn't have, any bumper monitors or anything like that on it. It's pretty bare bones.
Okay, y'all submitted 4 quotes for this. What's your recommendation?
Chief Peterson, what's the recommendation of the committee? And Chief Melson?
The recommendation, we have wildfire trucks here in this county. And try to set president's on stabilization. And Mike works on all these trucks. And our nation is going to be wildfire. I don't know, Mike, I want to.
Do you have anything to oppose that?
Not really, because most of the trucks come with pretty standard equipment. It's not really proprietary, so it really doesn't make a difference on who manufactures the truck or builds the truck,
Okay.
because they're all going to come with wheeling lights, stuff like that, pretty standard stuff.
I'm going to echo their recommendation that we go with Wildfire.
All right, have a recommendation from the
So which one?
the Wildfire, the third one, the very bottom one.
What's the total cost on that one?
Hold on
Well, I
a
see
second.
it says $74,000.
Theirs is also that CPS Buyboard Rockdale Country Ford. The total cost on that one is, hang on, I flipped off my page here.
All it says is $74,000 on it.
127,427.
Yeah, because that brings it up, bring about 57,500 we'd have to come up with to match it for the finish paying for it.
Yeah, we'd have to look at next year's.
Next year's equipment, yeah.
And if we just run it, whatever we're going to allocate towards equipment, just take it off that.
All right. I have a motion to do that.
Let's make sure we're looking at the right one here. So it is the CPS Buyboard Rockdale Country Ford quote.
Yes.
Total 127,427. Delivery at 12 to 18 months.
Yes.
Is it possible it actually goes out a year and a half? We could essentially be looking at 24, close to it anyway.
I don't honestly have that answer. I know that
Is that the Wildfire quote, or is that another different quote?
it's the Wildfire quote that came
Okay.
from Don at Wildfire.
Okay.
He quotes so they get the truck, they order the truck, then it comes to them, and then they also quote separately the price for all their body work. So he put them together on this sheet.
Okay.
That was the same time frame they gave me on my actual account they were doing.
You had a preference towards a different vehicle or different Daco manufacturer for, what's the difference in them?
11,000.
The lighting package is one thing, there's like a 3-year warranty, I think, with the Wildfire, and with the Daco, it's lifetime warranty on the light, all of it.
I think is this standard on the wheeling lights, is a lifetime warranty, Mike?
They have bumped it up to a lifetime warranty, yes.
So it'd be on any truck you got them on?
As long as it's got a wheeling light on it, it's got a lifetime warranty.
So do you know what lights you're getting on the Wildfire truck?
I can't remember what he said.
Yeah.
It's just what he spec'd out in that spec, not cheap or
Okay.
what Don said. They'll do any kind of lights you want frames.
And, well, the real question comes down to, I don't know how much the light package is, but you're talking about paying $11,000 uplift for those lights. What's the value of those lights? I mean,
Sound off.
11,000, running 11,500
yeah,
to go with
just
that
a
other one.
Premium, and if we're just getting different lights on it, then
Yeah.
is it, are the lights worth $11,000?
But
But can you upgrade the other ones for that amount, or replace them in 2 years for 11,000? I mean, that's,
I think they're pretty well gonna be the same lights. No.
Sound off.
Sound off?
Yeah, sound off. It's got sound off lights on it.
Here, they're all LEDs, but they're saying, what, you have to walk on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get something.
Like, I don't know, you might know more there on the sound off lights than me.
I've really never dealt with a lot of sound offs, but I haven't heard many good things about them.
That's what you're right about.
Okay, so when we did the quotes to build it ourselves, our lights and console package came out to $12,000. So that's probably why we're seeing that difference in the two.
well, I mean, you can go back to them and ask them to provide you an updated quote with those in there. But, I mean, we have a tendency to standardize on one thing, and we don't know if these other ones are good or not, so.
Right.
Or I just look at it and think that we're getting ready to pay a premium for something that we may not need to pay extra for. I don't know. You guys have to tell us that
I can
stuff.
vouch for the fact that the sound off is much cheaper, doesn't have as good a warranty or representation. I mean, it's,
But if I got to, I mean, if I'm going to pay extra for them, or extra for these others, what value do I get out of that? I mean, other than paying extra for them, that's, I guess, is what I'm trying to figure out. And I'm not saying yes or no to either one of them, I just don't know.
I think the wheeling lights perform a lot better as far as notification in traffic. I mean, it's pretty standard to request that because they stand out a lot more than cheaper warning lights.
And especially now since they've upped their warranty, because they did have a 5-year warranty, but now with the lifetime, so no matter how old the truck is, if you've got a problem with that wheel and light, all you gotta do is send it in, and they send you a replacement for free.
Do you want to just get another quote on what the weight on there through wildfire?
Just
I mean, I don't know if she's modern,
But what,
what
yeah,
it is, but
why not just, why not just update the quote and see what the cost delta is for adding them? You would hope that it's not the full value of the package. I mean, you gotta take something out for the lights they're already providing, so maybe it'd be a minimal uplift.
Right. Okay.
Might still be a cheaper quote.
Okay.
Didn't you
Yeah.
have to have my quote with you?
I do not.
Okay.
You just want to table this till the next meeting then, until we get an updated quote? Okay.
Well, I mean, what we're gonna do, we're gonna wind up setting the value in a different meeting, in a different budget meeting outside of this.
Right.
But what we really want to do is give them authorization to go ahead and proceed, and I'd like to know how much we're thinking about proceeding, rather than,
Yeah, we need to know a number we need to budget for.
yeah, we're gonna have to know that. I mean, we'll know that before we make the commitment, I'm sure. It's just, why don't we just look at authorizing it up? Authorize commitment up to $135,000. And just get us another quote that uses those lights from wildfire. And then if it comes in above that, then, here's my concern is that I don't want to say, yes, go ahead and go, and we get hit with the full value of the wheel and lights on it, and not get anything taken off their current pricing to us for the lights they're taking off of it. I mean, I'm not gonna buy it from somebody that does it like that.
Right.
So I don't want us to go down that path, but I actually understand that we've been working on this for a long time. We need to get it moving. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can facilitate us moving forward, but without just opening the
Right.
checkbook, right? So,
Okay, so you want to make a motion to authorize up to $135,000 for the wildfire unit?
yeah, I think so. And then present us with a updated quote.
Okay,
Uh,
you put that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, make the motion that we approve the commitment for Dixie brush truck up to $135,000, contingent upon receiving a updated quote from Wildfire for the wheel and lights.
Have a second. Have a motion by Commissioner Domney to approve up to $135,000 for the purchase of the Dixie brush truck for, from Wildfire, with the, waiting on the additional quote on the upgrade for the lights. And I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay. Y'all get that, Adam, y'all get that quote on those lights and see what they are. And make sure they're gonna give you credit for what they're changing out or whatever. Okay, item 14, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on the budgeted addition of personnel to Target Solutions. Is that you, Chief Clinton?
It is.
Okay.
So this would be, again, a budgeted item that we spoke about early in the budget process that would bring the remainder of our personnel on the Target Solutions platform. We currently enjoy a situation where UT pays for our EMS certified individuals to be on Target Solutions. And Target Solutions provides a platform that we are able to, basically assign both fire and EMS topics. So what we're asking for is the budgeted amount to, and actually we're $48 over, but we have a resolution there, to move forward with the additional staff, EMS certified or not, throughout the entire county, and bring us all onto the same platform for assigning various interactive type training, both the EMS and fire variety. We are looking basically at paying $99 per individual, and I shot out there a 150 number as far as number of personnel we need to add. I don't think we'll hit the 150 number, and therefore we'll be under that budgetary commitment, which was $15,000. So anyway, that's what we're looking to do.
Chief, is that a recurring cost or is that one time?
That's going to be a annual
Annual cost.
cost.
So
It'll be a budgeted situation for us.
is this just for fire or is this, or what? I mean, 'cause you said EMS was paying for it, now we're paying for it. What's the?
Okay, so those people that are currently EMS certified, our paramedics, our EMTs, EMR, ECA, et cetera, are paid for by UT currently. This that I'm asking for will pay for the remainder of our personnel who do not hold an EMS certification. So EMS will continue under the agreement that you guys have with them to pay the annual costs associated with the EMS piece. And the non-EMS certified individuals will be paid for by the district.
So aren't all our firefighters some kind of certified?
No, sir.
Medical certified?
No, sir.
Okay.
And again, budgeted item.
That's for everybody. So it's
I know.
okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Make the motion that we approve the purchase order to Target Solutions for the budget amount of $15,000.
15,000 or 1548?
Yeah, $15,000 for the
Okay.
budgeted value.
All right. All right, have a motion by Commissioner Downey, a second by Commissioner Wilson. We pay up to the budget amount of $15,000 for targeted solutions. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item 15, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on the budgeted addition or necessary action on the budgeted purchase of 2.5-inch and 5-inch hose. Chief Smith?
Okay. So as you know, hose testing is actually happening this week. We have a budget for 5-inch hose and we have a budget for 2.5-inch hose. Our budget for 5-inch hose for this year was $20,000. Our budget for 2.5-inch hose was $10,000. Again, had some price increases and things like that. We're not sure exactly how many are, it's going to be tested. So we know that there's going to need to be some that's replaced. The quotes you have in your books are for 10 sections of yellow 5-inch, 10 sections of red 5-inch. The 2.5 is for 20. And so the low quote on that is $16,900 for both. What I'd actually like to ask is for the budgeted amounts not to exceed. So if we get into our hose testing and we end up with, in this scenario we have 10 yellow 5-inch. If we end up with 12 failing, then we would be coming back and asking for more. So what I would like is for the board to authorize $20,000, the budget amount of $20,000 to replace 5-inch and $10,000 to replace 2.5 after our hose testing.
Okay. So you just want the whole budget amount for both sections, right?
That is correct.
So you're quoted at 20, 10, and 10,
Yes.
which is normally half or a little over half of your total budget. Is what
Yes.
they quoted to you. How much price difference do we see when we start talking about the larger quantities? Is there any price difference in them?
I don't believe we get any price break when we start ordering higher quantities. He sent me these quotes. I think he was trying to predict what he thought we would need. And once I got the quotes, I said, well, we're going to hose test and we don't know exactly how much we're going to need. So this gives us a little bit of room to not have to come back to you guys.
We've approved some not to exceed purchases in the past, but we knew a little bit more about what we were doing at the time when we made those approvals. And, if you're already in hose testing, you had a good idea how many you were going to need, and we could make some reasonable assessments, then I might be willing to do something. But I don't think I'm willing to just approve 30,000 when we only have quotes for 16 or 17,000.
Fair enough.
That equals 16, 17,000. So,
We'll have a better idea at the next meeting.
so we can go and approve what you got quoted, and then if there's an adjustment made after testing, then we can manage those adjustments, whatever we may need to do.
Okay.
I mean, are you actually going to go commit this hose now?
No, it'll be probably after next week. That's when hose testing is later this week. We'll know how much after that, what we're going to need. So it'll probably be within 2 weeks. We'll be looking to order hose. If we go over this amount, we can order, I guess, this amount, and then at the next meeting ask for more. If you'd rather us do that, or hold off.
To be meeting something else, or
Yeah.
I mean, the option is actually to hold off, but it just postpones you by another 30 days and gives you stuff ordered. So I understand what you're trying to do. Do you have a particular vendor that you're looking at? for
So,
any reason?
I'm looking at Casco because they have the best price on this. That's where we would order from.
$17,000. I mean, I propose that I'll make the motion that we are approve purchase of 2-inch and 5-inch hoses, not to exceed 20,000.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to purchase the 5-inch and 2.5-inch hose not to exceed $20,000 from Casco. Have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
And Chief Smith, that gives you a little bit of.
Gives you a little wiggle room.
If you need, and if you run into major failures in them, and which you're getting ready to have to buy a whole bunch more, then let us know, but this should actually get you started.
All right.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 16, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on the purchase of tires from Jackson Heights Brush Truck. Who's going to speak on that?
Do you want to take it or do you want me to take it?
The tires on that brush truck were starting to get fairly low in wear. And then when that truck was gone for the month or so, it was out on deployment out in West Texas. The terrain out there kind of ate them up significantly more. So there's a bunch of chunks and stuff missing out of the tires.
Has it
So-
gone on TIFMAS deployment? Gone on TIFMAS deployment?
Yes.
Shouldn't they pay for it, Chief?
It's included in the reimbursement we get. So they reimburse us. We get an hourly rate for the truck. So all of the things like tires, unless it's on a federally funded fire, it comes in the reimbursement package. So effectively, they are paying for it.
So they would effectively reimburse us for the $23.50?
No, it's included in the hourly.
It's included in the
hourly rate of the truck.
What's the hourly rate of the truck?
What's the hourly rate?
$70 an hour, and that's the time that it works. The smallest reimbursement check that we have sent in for reimbursement is going to be around $4,500. So some of them are substantially more than that.
So the price for the tires are $2,350.
And that truck's been out through a couple of different reimbursement periods. So I couldn't give you hard figures, but it's going to be knocking on the $15,000 to $20,000 range that the truck is earning.
Okay. Just need that question answered because we just
Now, if
need
it's
to,
on
we need to
automatic,
know.
Which is a federal fire and it has a catastrophic.
Yeah, if it's a
issue,
federal fire.
We bill that fire, but these fires that it was assigned to.
Okay.
will not
Yeah.
have that.
Just want to know for information. So,
Appreciate you bringing this to us ahead of time.
yeah,
No problem.
yeah.
Make the motion that we approve the replacement of Jackson Brush Truck tires for $2,350.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Domedy to replace the tires on Jackson's brush truck for the cost of $2,350. Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item 17, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on fire chiefs presenting and discussing issues with the board for future action. Chief Arnold from ARP.
The one report that we're missing is under review right now. Our crew was out training, and the call had to be responded by a troop, and they're trying to figure out how exactly to put that in the report. So they're working with the battalion chiefs on that. And the one person responses, they were on another call, and we called a call, and one of our guys ran that call, so it wasn't no, it was a medical call that he went on. Incidents are up considerably for us. Everything seems to be going okay right now. All my people are actually showing up. They're out training at Station 2 right now on Wildland, so one of these days I'll get to train with them and not be up here. Other than that, everything seems to be okay. Yes, sir. Hard question, go ahead.
Easy question. Recruiting. And have you seen any new people coming in, new interest in your area? I mean, kind of what's happening around the recruiting, new volunteers?
Now, come again on that.
What's happening with volunteers, recruiting for volunteers? Any
We have
interest shown?
lots of inquiries, and when I tell them if they'll show up to the meetings, we'll see interview them and kind of see what their response is going to be. I want to see somebody show up at my station and come to 2 or 3 meetings before I put in a whole lot of paperwork and a whole lot of time and effort doing all the stuff she has to do. If they can't bother to come to 2 or 3 meetings, I don't even send in their request.
But you say you have a lot of interest, so I mean, are you
There's
saying
people
like
that are interested,
10
but when they
and
find
2
out
come?
the time and effort that they're going to have to put in to get some of their certifications and everything, and I'm hoping that we can come up with a slow roll process for some of these people. The country folks don't move real fast, and we're going to have to go slow with getting some of these people on board.
Okay.
And a lot of the things that we're trying to do now, they feel like there's too much pressure. I mean, it's not like when I first joined, you made a few meetings and you got to go squirt some water on some fire. I mean, it's totally different ball game. And we've got to somehow figure out how to get them started without running them off.
Thanks.
Bullard, Chief King.
Good evening, everybody. Y'all have reviewed my little run report there, so I'll only speak on the one person response was during the daytime, so not my folks. Since we've last spoke, I've got one that's completed. It's the day staff, like not my balls, I mean. Oh, okay. Well, it was the day. Since we spoke last, I've got one that's completed fire academy, one that's about to complete it. I've got one in paramedic school. We've since instigated we've began a new program where we overnight staff with volunteers. So that's actually opened me up to allowing to use people who don't necessarily live as close to the station. And since I've done that, I've was able to recruit one individual who's TCFP certified, as well as about to complete his EMT. And spoke with another guy yesterday, and he's going to be good, and that's been very good for us. We also are getting into events season, and so I'm going to turn over to my guy who handles my events for me real quick to talk about that.
Good afternoon. We had a really good PR last month. We partnered with the Junior League of Tyler. They had a big event called Touch a Truck. And so they sell tickets to families to come out and bring their kids, and they invited Bullard Fire to come out. We brought Engine 1 and Brush 3. They had about 2,500 kids come out that day. Brought in a lot of money for them. They also had, City of Tyler had police, they had DPS, they had dump trucks and 18-wheelers, and Krista's Flight for Life brought a helicopter and mail trucks, and just anything you could think of the kids could come out and take a look at and crawl on and ask questions and everything. It was a really good experience. So they brought a lot of money in for them. They put that back into the community and for different organizations that they partner with. We have another one coming up called, it's Firefighter for a Day. So the Bullard Education Foundation reached out to us along with lots of other local organizations, and they asked for us to put a package together that they could auction off. And so we put something together where we could basically give an experience to a small group of children. We tour the station, we give demonstrations on trucks, we cook at the firehouse and share stories and have a good time with them. But that brought in a few $100s for the organization. And so collectively, they had, I think, about $15,000, $20,000 that they put back into the education at Bullard, donated it to the school, gave materials to teachers, and put into a scholarship fund. So really good events that happened in the last couple of months. Another one, that's about all events that we've had for the last month. One update that was given, a project that was given to me in the last few weeks was the electrical upgrade to Station 1 in Bullard. And so I believe that was budgeted for this fiscal year. So I began working on getting bids for work on that. So as soon as we have that information, we'll be submitting it for approval. Thank you.
Good evening. I already looked at our deal at one income or report has been fixed, so it's been done. And like I said, for one-man response, I got 4 this time, which is either one of them are still going to be medical again. Yeah, that's what I show on that. So it's a lot of them have been canceled, and most of those medicals as well. I've been working on, or actually we got, had one that's completed the fire academy. Now it's in the EMT course to complete that as well. I am sending 2 guys now, we're going to be starting the officer training class here in this next month. So it'll be officer part. And this last month we had twice been to the high school in Chapel Hill. One for the students, kind of like a fair day where we had our booth there and the kids come around and to see if they were interested in coming joining the department. So it's more or less getting out to the community to see what they're going to do. Then we had another one about 2 weeks after that again. It was called Fun Fest. It's more with the family as well as the kids came out in that. More or less kind of recruiting some more as well. And then we're going to be doing one for Chapel Hill. We're actually doing it ourselves. We're going to put on a little kind of get together for the students and the family in our district on June the 4th at our fire station, kind of more open up to where we get more and see if there's anybody interested wanting to come join the department as well. Then we are sending 2 guys to the SFFA conference here at the end of next month down there for our conference with SFFA as well. Also, I got one thing. I am going to ask that you consider putting on your next agenda donation to David McGee, who is employed by John Soul. Last night in Chapel Hill, Red Spring, we responded to a fire at the Rico Pallet on the Loop in Chapel Hill District for an uncontrolled fire. Upon arriving, we found a very large pile of scrap wood from their pallets on fire. And it was going to take more than just water to handle, and quickly realized that we needed something more. It was hard to get to it because it was so big and so deep. We reached out to John Soul, and he sent 2 track hoses from his business across the street with 1 operator. That was David McGee. Him and Trey Connolly also worked on the other track hose and to separate the pile, get the good stuff away from the what was on fire. It was burning way down underneath. David was not being compensated for his time, and without his help and John So, we would still be having resources standing by on this fire. We would have been a whole lot longer, probably 2 or 3 days. It took a lot longer for us to go to a lot of water. So basically we got out there a little bit quicker by having these track hoses come. We feel that if you can help out David McGee with a $500 donation for his time out there from the ESD to show our thanks for what he did, his gratitude, assistance in helping us at that fire. Okay, I mean, he did it. I mean, we asked him and he helped us out and brought to make fire, so.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Okay, you're welcome.
Uh-huh.
Got anything else?
Not that I know of. Got any, oh, have you recruited any more new, I know you said you had some. Have you had any more interest?
No, I just, like I said, we just put 2 of them on here this last, 2 months.
Right.
And I haven't, since we've been in school so far, we had some talk, but nobody's actually come out yet so far.
Okay.
And like I said, we're going to have that one in June. Hopefully we'll do better on the one they do at our station. Basically coming to our station,
Right.
and they get to see the trucks and what we got at the station, maybe they'll get more interested in that way.
Right, okay, thank you.
Chief York, Dixie.
Good evening.
How you
I
doing?
got 2 recruits been working on. One of them, I think, is a Black Cloud. First car wreck he made was a fatality. Then the other night, we had a structure fire, and it was a fatality. But he's still with us. If he hadn't run him off, it didn't scare him off. But everything's going good. Got 3 incomplete reports. I looked at those with Joe Nix. Those been taken care of. One of them is actually a duplicate. He having a hard time trying to erase it or get rid of it. And one person response to the structure fire, my guys were on a pin in on Spur 364, and Mike Turbyville ran that by himself and got canceled en route to Lindale structure fire. Other than that, everything's going good.
Okay.
Any question?
Yeah, we'll just repeat the same one, that looking at, I mean, you've had a couple of people, but you know, what else you doing is around recruits and?
Just trying to keep what we got and try to get some people.
I mean, any community engagements that are going on, outreach within the community around that area? Anything that you, or are we just waiting for them to come to the door? I mean, I guess what I'm
Pretty much
asking.
waiting for them to come to the door.
Okay.
We put a banner up, we got a sign, and we need to put it out there. But as far as doing a letter drive and stuff, it costs so much money to try to do a letter drive.
I think we got to work on it across the district then. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Flint Grisham. This will be Lieutenant Rath.
Let me get my notes.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. For right now, so we've got one new person, a new junior. Hopefully we'll be able to engage with Bullard and go through their junior program. Bullard's got a pretty excellent junior program going on right now. And he was interested in that, but he is closer to Flint Gresham, so he's going to volunteer with us and then participate with Bullard in their junior program, is what I understand. He's going through the background investigation stuff right now. I've already sent the application over to Ms. Sherry. And he's actually already signed up for the municipal school this summer as well. So we've got him in a ropes class for this summer. Speaking of municipal school, we've got 8 people signed up right now. 2 of them are going through Wildland, 4 through Ropes Tech 1, 1 through the Fire Life Safety Educator course, and 1 going through PIO, the Public Information Officer. Last few meetings that we've had, we've been focusing a lot, or planning around ISO preparation. So in the next few years, we're probably going to get another ISO grading of our district. We're going through and discussing how we can get our score up, talking about doing pre-fire plans, doing hydrant inspections, just understanding what the requirements are for ISO so that we can get a better rating, get a better insurance rate for our constituents. As far as people in classes right now, I've got 1 going through a SFFMA, or it's a fire academy, but it's from the SFFMA route. It's not the TCFP route. 1 is in, or starting EMT school at TJC this summer. And then we've got 2 people going to the SFFMA conference in a few weeks. That's mostly it. I mean, we've had a few minor issues, but they've all been worked through internally. We haven't really, nothing's really pending right now. Nothing's outstanding.
Good deal.
Yep.
So, have you got several people that are in different stages of coming on board for your organization? How do you get those people?
Honestly, it's the same way that, waiting for them to come to the door. We have, our members are active in the community. People know about the volunteer fire department, so they reach out to us because they know about us because we're always out there. We're making calls, we're engaging with the community members that are out there. We speak to them, they know us personally, so they know that the VFD is an option. Obviously, we've discussed before, but there are a lot of opportunities out there for us that we should be going down as far as marketing the fire department, getting our name out there, getting the knowledge of the VFD out there better. But those are things that are going to take a coordinated effort from the entire district. I think we could do a coordinated plan across the board, but it's going to take some work. Yep.
All right.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Jackson Heights, Chief Thompson.
Good evening. Doing the trial phases of learning the computer system, so there should be 4 events up there instead of 1. We did celebrate Jalen's birthday. We had quite a few people turn out for that. We did a balloon release. We also were invited to the Jackson Community event, which we didn't know anything about, and I called the station and the guys brought the truck up. It turned out very well. The guys did play basketball and football with the people that were there. We did have a department meeting, and we also had a board meeting. During the board discussion, we did talk about recruitment banners, since we were unable to get those through SFFMA. I did get approved to purchase those from the Chapel Hill ISD Tech Department, but I got a phone call today, but they're unable to produce it, being that school's gonna be out by the 25th. So we're gonna have to go somewhere else and get those banners and those street signs made. I've got one individual, which is my son, that wants to join the department, but we're looking at him as a mascot role because he's under the age of 10. I do have one individual going to the SFMA conference, and that's gonna be the assistant chief. Any questions for me?
Can you guess the question?
Recruitment. We did put in for those banners and street signs through SFMA, but we were unable to get those. We did get a contact through the school tech department at Chapel Hill ISD. During the election process, they were unable to process our requests because they made all the banners and stuff for the election process for Chapel Hill. So now we got to go back to the drawing board and try to find somebody else to produce those.
So what type of interest do you see coming from people in the community? Do you have, I mean, some of the other chiefs mentioned that, they got several people interested, but, really aren't dedicated. I mean, do you have that interest in the community, or?
I haven't had any walk to the door at this point. We had one referral from Flint. I sent the gentleman an email. Actually, I sent him 2 emails, and I have not got a response back yet. I'm not sure if that person lives in our district but the referral came from Flint, so I'm not sure exactly where that person lives. We were hoping the banners and the street signs, if we strategically placed those, that would bring some interest to the department, but so far I have not been able to get those made.
You had one community event, which is great, that you were able to go and participate. Other community events that are potentially coming up, just anything that would help you guys?
None that I'm aware of at this time. In our area, there's a lot of trail rides. We try not to go to those, but we try not to go to those. They can be sort of hairy, so.
Go early. Don't go late, go early.
Go early. My next thing is to type up a letter and place it at all the churches that we have out there. There's a little bit over 33 churches in our district. So we're going to try to get some of those people from the church to pass the word along.
Or maybe an open house for the church leaders.
We thought about that too, financially. That may be an issue because everybody wants to eat. We're trying to get somebody to sponsor that event if we do that. So far, I have not got a sponsor yet. So I'm looking at the landfill, and they're pretty good about sponsoring different events.
Talk about some different things. Look at different things that you may want to do within the community and everything. And if you need something where the board may be able to assist you, or the district may be able to assist you, come back and bring some of the ideas back and say, here's what I'd like to try to do.
I appreciate it.
We can try to help, if we can help find somebody to sponsor, or if we can just, we'll be limited on what we can actually do as the ESD, but we'll try to do as much as we possibly can to help you out.
I appreciate that.
I'll say the rest of you chiefs out there, I mean, it's not a single offering to this particular district. But also, if you are having successes in recruiting at different places or hear different things, you know, by all means, share information between yourselves. I mean, we got to keep our volunteer staff up. I think everybody knows and acknowledges that the moment we lose all of our volunteers, then our district doesn't function anymore. Because there's no way we can feasibly employ enough people to cover this district. We have to have both. So we need to help each other across the board as much as we possibly can.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Any other questions for me? Thank you.
All right. Just to clarify something that was mentioned earlier. So my understanding, because I did not know, does each volunteer department have $8,300 for uniforms?
That's, yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because this first that I've heard of it. So last year we spent about $5,000 out of our own money for uniforms. So I'll be next month asking for some money for this year.
Sorry.
All right, we had 92 calls for the month of April. Kind of broke them down just real quick. 9 of them were fire alarms, 7 grass fires, 33 of them were medical, 15 of them were miscellaneous calls, 3 were mutual aid MVAs, 3 were mutual aid other, 5 were actually mutual aid structure fires, 13 MVAs, 2 public service, and then 2 structure fires in our district. So majority of our calls, like I said, is medical and MVAs. Just real quick, on April 7th, driver operator Rob Gamage and firefighter Ben Van Winkle were burned fighting a house fire. As we know, Ben was taken to UT Tyler where he was treated and released. Rob was also taken to UT Tyler where he was treated and then flown to Parkland Hospital in Dallas and then later released. Ben was able to return back to work after 2 weeks while Rob is still recovering from his burns. 2 days after the incident, I received an email from Fleetwood Memorial Fund held at North Texas Community Foundation located in Fort Worth, Texas, offering financial assistance to both Rob and Ben. With the help of Miss Sherry, she was able to fill out the paperwork there was some information in their personnel file. Happy to say that today both of them received financial checks for assistance. On this month, as we know, May 18th, Noonday responded to a residential fire with a reported victim still inside the house with heavy fire and smoke conditions surrounding them. Lieutenant Daniel McConnell, Lieutenant Angel, thank you. Firefighter Colby Hobson and firefighter Casey McClendon were able to locate the victim with the help they located the victim, and then with the help of driver Matthew Sharp, driver Lynn York, firefighter Ben Van Winkle, and firefighter Tristan Fairchild, they were able to bring the victim out the window and down the ladder. Unfortunately, despite their heroic efforts, the victim was not able to be revived and was pronounced at the scene. We do have one firefighter that has completed her TCFP Fire Academy, and she'll start her live burns next week. One issue that I'm having, we received a grant in February for extractor. The lowest bid by $20 was Casco Industries. They were instructed to bill us and that we would pay the bill, and then the ESD, we had gotten approval from y'all to pay the difference. We got a grant for $5,000. Y'all were going to pay the $2,800 difference. The first extractor we got was the wrong one. Sarah called me that she had a bill for from Casco, not knowing what it was when they were instructed to bill us. The second extractor we received was damaged, and they were supposed to pick it up 2 weeks ago, and it's still sitting in the bay. We've contacted our sales rep. I know we never say never in this business, but I will never buy anything from Casco Industries again. Their customer service is horrific. And answer to your question, we've got one new volunteer. She came from Bastrop ESD. She does have experience in wildland firefighting. We've set up a bunk room now instead of, because we just don't have people that are close by, so we've tried a new approach to recruit them to basically do shift-based work where they can spend the night and do 12, 24, 36, whatever hours at the station. So that's all I've got. All right, thank you.
Okay. How many times that make nobody showed up from there?
At least the last 5, I think.
Okay. All right. Chief Mauger, troop.
I agree with you, old age is getting bad. We had a deal last weekend where we got in with Troop PD. They're getting a new K9 dog down there, and we kind of set up down there with them, had a fire truck, an engine, and our command vehicle, and let the kids come up, look at it, and they had donations to the PD towards this dog, and it's a drug dog. We had the incomplete reports. I think we fixed those, and the 2 missing reports, I think we're still having problems with that Cherokee County side of it, that 3288. We're still getting that, and I don't know whether there's anything we can do about it or not. They fix the report sometimes, and if we don't do that map deal like you showed me, well, it screws it up, and we wind up with an extra report on there that's not supposed to be. But I've gotten 2 new volunteers in the last month or 2. I've got 1 more coming on board. Joe Nix's son is coming on, and he's going to go through the academy. So we've got him. We're going to try to keep him interested in it. And I've got another boy that was supposed to come by last week and got tied up and couldn't make it and get a application. He was on our department several years back when he first got out of high school and moved off on a job and moved back, and now he's interested again and approached me, and we just got to get together on it. I've got another one that says that he's going to, but I hadn't got tied up with him yet either. I mean, there's a lot of good intentions out there. It's just trying to drag them over the line. Yeah. And I consider that pretty good for troop.
So what's your attrition rate?
Pardon?
What's your attrition rate? How many do you have leaving in the period?
Actually, I haven't had anybody leaving. I mean, I got some of them that are kind of slacked off. I had one that had a baby, and he's been, or his wife had a baby, pardon my, his wife had the baby. But he's been kind of tied up with Mama there at the house, and hasn't been able to respond too well. I talked to him today, and he's fixing to come back on board.
Yeah, you may not lose them, but we'll talk about it. Just really active members, right? So
Yeah.
How many active members do we have, and how often do we lose those people? What are the reasons? Because that's really what we're looking at, trying to replace them.
Most of them that are on the roll are active to a point, and I really haven't lost anybody. I've gained some, so. Our one-man runs, that's still a medical deal. We're working on that. I know you don't like that, but that's what we're working on. It's helping. Yeah. Well, we go with, if they get a second page on it, then we have more response at that point. But the initial response, one person takes care of it at night and on weekends and stuff. And at night, during the daytime, you can probably get as much help as you need, but at night, we're kind of, so we don't wear everybody out at one time. Anything else? Bet.
Chief Champion, White House.
We've got one that just graduated Fire Academy. Had one new member that has come on with us. Got one that we're waiting on, another one that we're waiting on info back on him from Sherry. We're looking for that just any day. That we'll get our info back for him checking out. Had another new one come in their last meeting. He's coming in with one of our new ones that we got. Got a new junior that just joined. Her dad is on our department. Then we've got one more that he is still right now. He lives close to the station. He's still considering his issue that he hadn't come yet. You know, we've been encouraging him and trying to get him to come, but his issue is that he's a doctor and he's worried about liability issues. So he hadn't made it in yet. We've got 3 that have definitely signed up and are booked for Fire Academy at A&M. So we're just rocking and rolling and going. We've got, to let y'all know, we do have, didn't nobody else even mention it or nothing. We got Memorial Day this weekend. We will have the boat out on Lake Tyler and running it hopefully all 4 days through the weekend. If not, definitely Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, you have anything else?
No, I think so.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief. Winona. Chief Hyatt.
Hello. Hey, I know we have 4 one-person responses. 2 of those were, Chief was diverted going to a structure fire, another call, and he had to go in a command vehicle to that second medical call. They were all medical calls. And then 2 of them were late at night, needed a lift assist for a patient medical call. Okay, we are sending 1 firefighter to Beaumont for conference. And we have 5 going to A&M this year. Our junior volunteer program, at the end of the school, all the programs trying to close up. The interest is kind of slacked off a little bit. We're hoping after school they'll pick back up. We have added 2 more firefighters on this year, just last month, and currently getting them trained to drive our trucks. And what else? You have any questions?
So you had it.
I'll go ahead and ask you. No, I was talking about just attrition and just looking at how many people that you have active and
Okay. Some of those that are, for a period of time, have no responses. We are currently working on moving them over to our support role, get them off our active rosters. So we're working on cleaning that roster up.
Good. Yeah, it gives us a clearer picture of how many active
Active, right now, we have about 18 active. Some run all the time and some when they can. You know, they have babies and family and other events going on.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right. Item 18, Human Resources Report.
All right, over the past week, I've filled open positions that we've had. That was 1 full-time and 4 part-time. So those have been filled, and those were like vacated positions that we've just refilled. So they're not new positions. I have an accident review that we're having tomorrow over the accident with Cameron Franks, who was injured. So that's happening tomorrow. And then the incident safety reports, I've received 6 of those over the past month. 1 of those was a near miss, and 5 were safety concerns. So we're looking at all of those. And Tessers, that's the retirement plan that I had talked to you about last time that we were in session. That's a retirement plan for the volunteers. I've looked into that. I've gotten good information on it. I would like to have Scott Miller with Tessers come in and do a presentation if that's an option. He'll be in Tyler June 8th and 9th, so we can discuss that. We don't have to decide now, but you know, if we want to move forward with that, I would like him to come so that he can answer all the questions you might have. I've gone into it with detail with him, but I'm sure you're going to have questions that I may not know, so I'd prefer to have him here. So that's basically it.
So your incident reports, you had 6 total, I think you received in the month?
For this month, 5.
5 for this month.
I know, 6, I'm sorry, you're right. 6.
So, and how many employees, i.e. volunteers, do we have?
Over 300.
300?
Yeah,
So
yes.
an extremely low percentage of
Yes.
near miss or incident reporting. Does everybody understand what the purpose of our near miss and incident reporting is? It's not intended to be retaliatory in any way. It's for us to be able to identify things that potentially can create a bigger problem for us in the future, so we can address it now before it becomes that bigger problem. And where I come from in our work, my professional career, we focus a tremendous amount of our energy on early identification of issues. And the company I work for in the first quarter drove 24 million miles. And I can't recall the number of incidents we had, i.e. where we were at fault or where somebody else was at fault. But we have, I'm going to say, close to about 75 or 80% of those people that drive turn in a near-miss report on a weekly basis. We have a huge amount of information that we'll receive, and it starts to allow us to focus in on key components. You have all these other small things that may happen that could become big, and we rank them as such. You know, that the incident itself might have been minor, but the results could be major, that we pay a lot of attention to. Then we have some that are you know, frequent occurrences. And I mean, we work along highways, we work all over the nation, and we take all this information and try to distill it into what's our next big risk. And then we can actually hopefully avert from that risk. All this depends on good information, good data. I know it's a new program, but I don't know that I can express to you the value that you can see, all of our personnel can see, from actually doing these near-miss and incident reports. The more we get, the more we can help avert the problem, whatever it may be. And again, it's not to get anybody in trouble. It's far from that. It's to protect those that are the most valuable to us, and that's all of y'all and all the people that work and volunteer for us. So I can't express to you how important it is that you participate in this to the furthest extent you possibly can. If you don't know, send it in.
give us the data, let us just deal it out and figure out what's important and what's not. Send it in, please. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Chief Information Officer report.
All right, we were pretty busy this last month. We did bring on our additional person that y'all allowed us to hire. His name's Gary Rhodes. He started with us, and he's going through training now. Probably be in training another 6 weeks or so before we can get him shifted over to that weekend shift. So y'all be patient with us. We're working with him. We had 4 major failures on the radio network that's provided by UT. UT is working to resolve those issues. We are tracking those. In those 4 failures, we deployed the mobile tower trailer 3 times to restore communications in the area, and also deployed a radio patch twice. Those seem to work pretty good, and we're making some adjustments. We're going to start identifying sites internally where we can know that we have those staging locations, so that if we have a failure in that area, we know we can bring it right out. I met with Mike with UT, and we're working through some resource sharing right now to see what we can do to resolve these issues that they're having at the tower sites. Their issues with the radio network that they're having right now is their old T1 circuits. It's hard to get any good, reliable connections to them, and they're starting to see a lot of failures due to their age. So we're looking at partnering with them, and I'll bring that to you guys when we're a little further in those discussions, to let them backhaul over our microwave network, which would provide us
Going with fiber on those?
I can tell you from whenever we were looking at building fiber out to some of these fire stations, the fiber build out costs are over $1 million. So, and I'm sure that hasn't changed very much in the 3 or 4 years. Now, there is some fiber that's closer, you know, that's come in that they might be able to build to, but they are investigating. Some of these areas are still pretty rural and hard to get to.
I know that's what we did. We had to get away from the T1 circuits with 911, so.
Yeah, they're looking at them. They're looking at them. But we might be able to offer less expensive solutions.
Yeah.
Because remember that if they have to incur those costs, we're going to have to incur some costs. So it benefits us all to work together. So we are working together. We had a meeting on it today and one last week, so it's encouraging. We're going to see some movement forward. We additionally had, and we're actually still experiencing, a network outage. It's a rolling outage, lasts about 15 minutes or less. We've experienced it now 4 times in the last week. What it's stemming from is we're upgrading our firewalls. We pulled our primary firewall out to upgrade it, and then our secondary firewall started failing. So we're working as fast as we can to get that primary firewall reinstalled to where we can restore services back to a non-degraded state. But if you look at our report, you can see those failures in that report as well.
Is that due to something in the program itself, or what?
No, that's our main firewall. That's where the internet connection comes into place.
Yeah.
It's a piece of hardware.
But they don't know what the failure is.
Well, we do know what the failure is, but we can't fix it until we get the primary reinstalled, and we're in a massive upgrade on that primary firewall. So we're migrating major system there. So hopefully we'll have that restored by the end of this week. That's our time frame. And the 400-foot tower is coming along at Fleet. They've got the foundation and everything poured. It's a 21-day cure time, so hopefully in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll start seeing that tower being erected. We also had them pour the slab for the building, and that building hopefully will be delivered by the end of this week. Weather may delay them a little bit into early next week. So we'll be moving along with the server room 2 move as well. And that's all I have unless y'all have any questions for me.
We've resolved quite a few work orders, about 38 to 40 work orders, and also a number of issues that aren't recorded in the work order system. Still just going through performing scheduled PMs and working on outstanding work orders. We got our draft commander stuff that we got approved to buy a few weeks ago, so we're fixing to gear up to do some major pump testing. Talked to Siddons Waxahachie Paint and Body Shop, and they are still waiting on some information from our insurance adjuster on the repair of the ladder truck. They're hoping, hopefully by the end of this week, we should have a hard number on what it's going to be to get that ladder truck fixed. They did get it there, and I don't think they really found anything more than what they originally planned, so there wasn't any more major damage done. So hopefully that'll get rolling here pretty soon. I did speak with them about the Jackson engine 2, the engine that just recently got rear-ended. They asked if we would wait a couple weeks to get that truck over to them. They had some major projects that were being finished up by Memorial Day, so to clear out room in the shop so they could have that truck inside the yard. So they said sometime after Memorial Day, that following week, we're going to get that towed out there so they can start tearing into it more, because they know there's a bunch more internal damage that you can't really see from the outside. So that process will start rolling again here in the next week or so. And other than that, that's kind of all I have at the moment.
So what kind of issues are you seeing that aren't in your work order system?
Just minor little issues, some light bulbs, some...
Okay. Nothing that's really going to...
No, nothing that's major, no.
Okay. I mean,
All the major
I'm just
stuff.
looking at just statistically, a piece of equipment, so, okay, light bulbs I don't care about, windshield wipers I don't care about. If you weren't entering something there, with some of the mechanical systems.
Right, no, it's anything that's major. If we do brake jobs, stuff like that, that all gets entered in, so.
Okay.
Chief Smith, can you maybe talk to our insurance carrier and see if they can get their adjuster out there and get something moving on that ladder truck?
I'll call and talk to them and see what we can do.
Thank you. Chief Clinton?
Okay, so provide you with the calendar, and you can see how populated that calendar is. It's been a very busy month in the month of May. We do May Day training. We'll rotate that next month out to our nighttime trainings. So we've had that going up at Red Springs. We used an upstairs area there at the shop that we were able to make some use of for training, and did some May Day training up there. As well as we have our door force rotations. It's the force door prop that's rotating around throughout the county. We're trying to make that available in all areas so that everyone gets an opportunity to participate in that, and it is on the training calendar about where it'll be each week. It moves on Sundays. We did some acquired structure training down at Troop. Really appreciate that. Gary McDonald and David Gerald and those folks helped us out on that and provided us just a great opportunity. 4 days with very short notifications, so we jumped on that. We were able to do a lot of neat stuff there. Had some visitors that came and trained with us even on that. We had the juniors from over at Bullard and various people that come out, so that was kind of a good thing. We've been doing the Wildland What Does the Summer Hold program. I gave you guys some handouts that kind of go along with what we're doing on that. And you've already heard me speak to the situation that we feel is potentially coming, even though we're supposed to receive a lot of rain this next week. We'll dry out by the end of July, and moving forward could be problematic. So we're preparing for that. We did a brief overview at the LEPC meeting over just that. During that meeting, we talked a little bit about what ESD2 is doing to prepare, and I think we're leading the way on that, so that's kind of an interesting thing. We've been working hard on the reimbursement process for TIFMAS. I think there's 9 of them total, and all of those but 2 are submitted with all supporting documentation, and we've had ongoing communication with TDM, and I don't expect to have any issues with that at all, so we should see money hitting the bank soon. We have numerous members that have attended online and in-person TCFP and SFFMA courses. Captain Van Winkle and I think some folks from Bullard went to the Wildfire Academy in Lufkin and took some good classes down there. We continue to work with our FRO program updates. So our first responder stuff through DSHS, we've provided everything that they've asked, and we should be seeing that posted very soon. We also have implemented the protocol changes and educated the majority of both career and volunteer folks in the county on that, that participated. David Gerald has been working diligently to get those supplies out, and I want to thank UT and David for getting those things done and in the hands of our first responders. They will make a difference. Along those lines, last week, May 15th through the 21st, was EMS week, and I want to provide a congratulatory thank you to all of our EMS folks, all of our certified people, both in ESD and with our providers, both Christus and UT. We thank you for what you do, and we recognize what you do. Thank you. Van Winkle will be teaching over at the SFFMA conference. He's going down there to do a small company tactics course and a flow path course. So we've got some of our folks going down to participate in that, which is a great thing. I also want to remind everybody that there are some of you that have not provided me with your Texas A&M names, like who's going to go to the municipal school, and we're making hotel arrangements, and I need those by June 1st. Also, we have been in communication with Kilgore College Fire Academy for an in-house fire academy in which they would conduct the majority of it online, and our staff would do the instruction for skills and things of this nature. It is funded through 2604, so we'd be working with the volunteer departments to get their staff in those programs, but it would be done right here, and we'd provide everything associated with that for TCFP and/or SFFMA certification. So with that, I'll ask you, do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You need to stop. Yeah. Okay.
Chief Smith, you're on. You're up.
Okay, in your board package, you have a copy of my report, the normal participation reports I do, and then also my summary. Masks are still delayed, the pumpers are ordered, RIP packs are ordered, we're still waiting on those. Host testing's underway. Those are the current projects we've had going. We currently have no personnel deployed for TIFMAS. However, there's still a wildfire threat going on in West Texas, and I'm sure we will be likely asked to deploy again. As Chief Clanton said, the reimbursements are in process. On the next thing on the list is what Chief Harper touched on earlier with the fire there in Noonday. I just want to say that I went out there that night, and from what I could tell and from what I was told, our crews did an outstanding job. Everybody that was on the scene did an outstanding job. So although the outcome wasn't what we wanted, everybody did great. Myself and Larry, we discussed with our landlord about the future of the property. The owner of the property passed away a couple of months ago, and his kids have inherited it. And so we had a meeting with him to discuss kind of what the long-term plan is. So we're going to continue to work with them on that. I passed the Jamestown property info to Commissioner McKeithen as requested. Myself, Mr. McDonough, and Chief Mauger attended the LEPC meeting on 5/16 last week. For those that don't know, that meeting is a meeting, it's the local emergency planning committee. It has us, Tyler Fire Marshal's Office, Eastman, Delic, and many other, Texas Forest Service, many other agencies that come together and try and put together plans. We do the heat plan, the severe weather plan, the winter plan, those types of things. Myself and Bill Martin met with Commissioner Brown and Commissioner Domney to do a budget review for the halfway point of the year. Our bunker gear that was ordered in September has arrived, and Chief Murillo has been getting it passed out. I think he's gotten most of it out. The last thing I want to say is Mike has been here for the past week, and I'm looking really forward to working with him. He's already helping me, and I can't wait to continue that work. However, do you have any questions for me?
I don't have any. You have any? No? Okay. Thank you, Chief. All right. This time we'll go into closed session. The board will convene in closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. No action shall be taken while the board is in closed session. Any final action, final decision, or final vote shall be taken after the board reconvenes in open session. 23.1, deliberation concerning appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, and responsibilities of individual ESD officers, commissioners, and employees. Deliberation regarding real property, and consult with attorney to receive legal advice concerning contemplated legal matter or settlement offer. And we are adjourned at 9:04. Yeah. Call the open session back to order at 10:01 PM. 25 is discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on personnel and employment ESD2. There's no action to be taken on that item. Item 26, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on Ridge Springs and Jackson Heights volunteer fire departments. And Mike, I'm going to ask you to speak on that if you would.
Red Springs has failed to maintain its tax exemption with the IRS, and as a result of that, it is in default on the contract. And the board has authorized me to let the Red Springs board know that it is in default, and that could result in termination of the contract if it's not corrected, and also authorized an audit of Red Springs.
Okay, all right. So I'll entertain a motion to have our attorney do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a motion that we authorize our attorney to issue a letter of default and potentially initiate a audit of the Red Springs Department.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy and a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Number 27. Only thing I'm going to say is, guys, better make sure that your 990s are filed. And we will also be asking you, if you would, to please submit a copy to the office at the ESD so we'll have it on file, so we'll know for sure that you have submitted your 990s and you are in compliance. Each year. All it is a copy, so your bookkeeper ought to be able to make a copy of that 990 they're going to submit to the IRS and give it to us. So we don't want to keep going through this stuff. All of you need to check with your bookkeepers and make sure your 990s are filed, and they have been filed, because we don't want to go through this every 2 or 3 months. So please do that if you would. Anybody else got anything they'd like to say? Charles, you got anything? Anybody? Mike? All right. I make a motion to adjourn. Okay. We are adjourned at 10:04.